Hi, welcome to our next episode of Beyond the Packout. I'm your host, Jeff Alderson. Today we welcome Giuseppe DiFlumeri, who has been with CCT for over 9 years, in multiple roles ranging from designer to document control and management to lab technician to product and portfolio manager. We explore his growth and hobbies and hear advice for prospective product managers and those aspiring to mechanical engineering degrees. I hope you enjoy our conversation, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Hi everyone, we're here with our next episode of Beyond the Packout with Giuseppe DiFlumeri. Giuseppe, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
All right, yeah. He's my colleague in marketing, so he will go into his latest promotion. But I want to ask you about your time here at CCT, your journey. So if you want to jump in there.
Yeah, so I was recently promoted to portfolio product manager / digital product owner. My journey at CCT, though, I've been here for about 9 years now. I came in as a designer / drafter, worked under Mark Fonts for a little while, part of the documentation control group. Previous to that, I have a degree in mechanical design, a couple of SolidWorks certifications. So I came in doing that. I saw the laboratory, and I saw what the engineers were doing in the laboratory and what the technicians were doing in the lab, and I became really interested in that.
Yeah.
So I sat down with Jeff Kaiser, had a talk with him, and he gave me a shot in the lab. So I worked in the lab for about 5 years through the pandemic, and during that time, I started to work with Amar's predecessor, Joe Consiglio.
Right.
And we worked on a couple of projects together. Really enjoyed working with him. Easygoing, we had really good communication. He knew what he was talking about, very intelligent guy. And this was kind of the first time in my career I said, I want to work for this person. And pretty much as soon as I said that, there was a listing for a product manager. And lo and behold, I applied for it. During the time, this was during a time where we didn't really have much of a marketing department at the time, or product management to say.
Right.
The least. Joe was trying to flesh out the department.
Yeah.
Totally understand. I was coming in as like an unknown entity, kind of trying this out. Didn't end up getting the position that time. Another position came up though for a junior role. I applied for that. That was in 2019, towards the end of 2019. Beginning of 2020 came and COVID hit.
Yeah.
So that kind of put a hold on everything. But I learned a lot. I was still in the lab during that time. It was a very trying time. There was a lot of communication going back and forth.
Right.
Engineers weren't in the house. So, we had to do a lot of stuff by video. I felt that I took a big step up during that time, driving results in the laboratory, making sure that, work's getting done, the lab's staying organized, everybody's staying on top of it, and that kind of, everybody's attitude is on the up and up, right? And kind of not to look into some sort of despair of what COVID was.
Right.
But yeah, during that time, Joe left. Amar came on board and, sat down, talked with Amar, and he said, don't worry, we have a spot for you. And when the timing became right, I came up as a product manager. I worked under Chris McLaughlin for a little while. And then now I'm currently under David Weber. And yeah, that's kind of that's how I got to where I am.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is a lot of growth, a lot of self-starting. I mean, especially a lot of dependence when I came on during the COVID support. That was a very trying time. So, any fun stories or any challenging times that came out of that you want to share?
Like during COVID, just driving into work. I'm sure everybody remembers there was
Right.
Anybody that was driving on the roads. There was nobody on the roads. It was a ghost town. Probably for the first 3-4 months.
Yeah.
When we were all kind of just figuring things out. That was really interesting. There was nobody in the building. It was the laboratory and the manufacturing associates out on the floor.
Yeah.
So we actually became pretty tight knit with the manufacturing people. I don't know what else. Just being in the lab, it's crazy time.
Yeah.
It was an interesting time. A lot of late days, right? Staying late, just trying to make sure getting tests done. A lot of Friday afternoon packouts, a lot of last minute stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of the nature of the beast, right? It's things are going great during the week. We think we know what we're going to do. By the end of the week, something changes.
Yeah.
And, now it's Friday at 5:30 and you're still trying to get something in the chamber.
Yeah, I personally remember that time where it was like, a message from our then president, Bob Bonet at the time, sending, a message out about the update for COVID operations, et cetera. And that was, I was working till 6. I was remote, granted, but it was a lot of late thing, messaging that would come across like that. So
yeah, they would, yeah.
Nothing like you guys, but for sure, I think the engineering team carried CCT a lot, and the manufacturing as well. I think carried this company through COVID. So, how did you get the interest in mechanical engineering?
In mechanical engineering, so grew up. My dad was a landscaper. My mom was a housekeeper. I worked with my dad from a young age. I was probably 13 or 14. Every summer out there cutting grass, cutting bushes, right? Along with that came fixing the machines. Stuff breaks down. You can't go to a shop all the time to go have them fix them. So you kind of learn how to work with your hands. Part of that, as well as I have always been into cars, always. And initially I wanted to be a mechanic until I hung around a mechanic shop and I was like, I don't want to do this. As well as I didn't want to be a landscaper the rest of my life. So, I kind of put my foot down and said, I'm going to go to school for mechanical engineering.
Cool.
There was also a point in time where I wanted to go to school for marine biology, but I can't swim, so I don't think that's a good job. Good job for me. So, So I went to UMaine, Orono for a couple of years for mechanical engineering. That didn't work out, so I ended up coming back home. I went to Mass Bay and I got my degree in mechanical design. So I have, like I said previously, I have a couple certificates in solid, like my SolidWorks professional certificate and a couple of specialty ones under that, AutoCAD, Creo, and then a little Revit, which is like a 3D architecture program too. So I can mess around in that a little bit, not like I know the codes, but yeah, so that's kind of where I ended up. Right after I got my degree, I ended up getting a job at I was a designer at a large valve manufacturer, primarily in the oil and gas industry. I was there for about 3 years. I learned a lot, kind of, how an office runs, how you work in an office, right? It's kind of my first quote unquote big boy job, right? Instead of just kind of being out there cutting grass and listening to my dad.
Cool. Typical day for in the life of you as a product manager these days.
Typical day. Day kind of starts early. Get up. First thing I'm doing is just checking emails, right? Checking emails, trying to follow up on anything that came in overnight, anything that came in earlier that morning, from our European associates. A lot of the times it's I get a mixed bag of questions, containing either pricing. I get a lot of technical questions. I think that has to do with me I've been with CCT for 9 years, and I've had a couple different roles, most of them in the technical section. So I get a lot of technical questions. As well as, aside from the commercial team, I get questions directly from customers that I'm in touch with. So I try to help them best as I can. After that, go to my synergy workflow, kind of see what needs to be done in there.
Right.
And then it's kind of onto my Jira sprint, right? What did I put in my Jira sprint and start, kind of going down those things. If there's an MPI program I'm working on, it's going into my MPI kind of checklist. What needs to be done? What can I get done, right? Where's a gate? Who am I waiting on? Who do I need to contact?
Yeah.
That is another thing that I think I actually strive at is when there's information that I need or somebody else needs, I'm not going to go and try and guess it. I know who to go to and get that answer, right? And I try just not to really waste time to get it. I just want to get it and get it done.
Keep going.
Yeah. The other part of product management is, kind of going and looking at the market, right? Kind of trying to figure out what does the market need. Anybody that's been here, we're primarily sales driven. We're very sales driven. It's a very niche industry.
Right.
So we kind of rely on our sales staff to come in and give us that feedback, give us that input. But now, since I've been pulled into our digital platform with Smart Solutions, and now that I own the on-demand parcel and the links launch portion of that, I'm starting to get feedback directly from customers on that platform to try and make it better. So we talk with our development team. We try to get some stuff. We roadmap some things, and we try to get them in the next coming sprints, or just try to figure. Because some things that customers want are great, but it's only great for that one customer and that one use case.
Yeah.
And we're kind of trying to be a little bit more broad with it.
Sure.
But yeah, that's kind of the day in the life.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, like talking about where you started and as a designer going up to now, like handling facets of the Smart Solutions platform. What's that kind of look like as far as like how do you feel like that's taking this company?
With the Smart Solutions platform,
yeah.
it's the way that we're headed, right? We've been a manufacturer for a long time. We're headed now into the service portion of that. It's exciting, right? Especially with on-demand, where you can go and we can have a customer order a packed out box all ready to go that morning, and it'll ship out that afternoon, and they will receive it the next day ready to go at their door.
Yeah.
They open the box, remove one refrigerant, put their payload in, close it, and it goes. Shipping labels are all set. Especially for our EcoFlex program, return reuse, right? It goes back, it goes from CCT to the customer, from the customer to the customer's customer, and then from them it comes back to us for refurbishment, and it goes back into the fleet.
Right. The kind of things you showed me before with the Smart Solutions platform, the tracking, the capability, the different metrics that come out of that.
Yeah, and that's
incredible.
Yeah, that's the other thing with the tracking. We integrate, the FedEx and UPS tracking numbers in there. You don't have to go to the FedEx and UPS website with a tracking number and paste it in to look. It's there in Smart Solutions.
Yeah.
If there's a data logger, that's also there. And we're using cellular and GPS enabled data loggers to be able to pinpoint exactly where that package is at that time, but also getting consistent and timely temperature updates, which is very valuable for the markets that we're starting to break into, like cell and gene.
Yeah, for sure.
These very onesie twosie shipments, but they're high dollar.
Yeah.
And it is a huge value add for this company.
Right. So, again, showing your growth throughout your time here at CCT, as far as like your own roles, and then also the different things you're responsible for, the way the company has grown and shifted from just kind of more of a solution, you think about it as the shipper itself, to now a full service, end to end, almost a service as opposed to just singularly a solution for the customer. What advice do you have for students looking to get into this field?
For students looking to get into this field,
say like high school or college, maybe, because we're around graduation season now. So
yeah, it's true. It's actually kind of, if you think about it, if you talk to most product managers, nobody really went to school for product management. You don't go to school for product management. It's something you go out into your professional career, whether it's engineering, whether it's being on a commercial team, anything like that. And you start to develop and you start to learn that industry that you're in. And then, in the case of me, I became a subject matter expert, right?
Yeah.
I manage refrigerants. So all of our coolant line refrigerants, I manage those. So I am the SME for refrigerants. I am the SME for data loggers.
Yeah.
So coming into that, it's easier to kind of come into product management with some previous, solution and product knowledge.
Right.
But yeah, anybody looking to get into it kind of from the get-go, it's long days. Some days it's challenging work. The job is I'm currently in the process of getting my product management certification.
Awesome.
From what I understand, product management's in the grand scheme of things, it's a new job.
Yeah.
It's only been around for 80 or 90 years. So it's, and not every organization has a product manager.
Yeah.
Stuff that a product manager does here, just a marketing manager at a different company would handle, right? Or somebody from the commercial team would handle,
right?
On the sales staff. So, it's a varied position, and it varies from what I've heard from colleagues at different companies and what I've read online is that it is done differently at every company.
Yeah.
There's no solid. It's kind of a jack of all trades position.
Right. I think the same thing. We talked about this before with project management too.
Yeah,
I mean, that's my background, and prior to that, I was like going into history, but then shifted gears myself, and I was like, project management has so many different hats that you wear, even within a singular organization. So even here, a project manager downstairs or is in the engineering group is very different from project and program management. I mean, I had project management in my title at one point, and I'm kind of just like the jack of all trades within marketing. So it just like, I think that's the same advice. You develop your skills on the job, and you watch your positions evolve over time, whether with the same company or elsewhere. So, and along with that, like, what other hobbies are you interested in? We obviously like have a few, I think we can talk about right away, between cars and barbecue and things like that. So
too many hobbies.
Or photography.
I have a hobby of collecting hobbies.
No, that's good.
But no, I mean, things that have stuck with me throughout the years. Cars. I've always been into cars. Now, being older, married, have a kid, cars have taken a back seat. Still have something fun that I drive every day. It's not something absolutely crazy that like I would have done when I was in my 20s. Right? I would have driven a fully race prep car. Like no problem in my 20s. Now, no, not at all. My back hurts. Believe it or not, I met my wife because of cars. And that's actually really cool because she likes fast cars. She doesn't like messing around with them though. She wants to just buy them fast. Where I'm like, I want to buy the car, but then I want to make it fast.
Work on it.
Yeah, can't really do that much anymore.
What was the car that you guys met over?
We both had Subaru WRXs.
All right,
and that's how we met years ago in 2013.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's that. I've been in photography for a long time, since high school. Was always interested in taking photos. Obviously you're into photography and videography. I never got into the video portion. I never knew what to video. Like, what do I make a video of?
These days, I think you touch the same camera, but you might use it for very different purposes. So, we talked about that with different cameras, lenses, and you can use them for different things. So,
No, I mean, and right now, kind of my big things are, I like doing landscape photography, astrophotography, or astro landscapes. You guys ever see those photos of like there's a beautiful landscape and then you see the Milky Way up above?
Yeah,
I like doing that.
You got any good examples?
Yeah, I got some good examples. So there's that, and then cooking.
Yeah, we obviously have a chat group that we go back and forth on with some either smokers or a griddle or just the traditional grill or charcoal grill or whatever. So I know we're always going back and forth with summer barbecues or whatnot that we got going on.
Yeah, I love cooking. I love seeing the look on a person's face when I make them food that either they've never had before or they've had before, and they're just like their eyes light up. I love making food for people that makes them happy, that makes them, that makes them feel comfort. And whether that's, I know we both have smokers. We like to make barbecue. Whether it's something like that or like just making chicken parm in the kitchen.
Right.
I come from I have an Italian name. My parents are both from Italy, so I'm first generation. So I grew up in the kitchen with my mom and my sisters, right? So I learned how to cook through them. I worked at a pizza place at one point years and years ago. That was a crazy time. Anybody that's worked in any sort of food industry, especially like a pizza place, it's nuts. But yeah, if that was, if I had it my way, I would probably try and open up a roadside barbecue stand. But it is, it's too unknown.
It's cool.
It's not stable, but it would be like
passion project.
It's definitely a passion project.
Yeah, I think everyone goes through that. I mean, my wife and I have talked about like, you should definitely open a food truck for this. So I'm sure like it must come across everyone's minds at some point.
It does.
At some point in life.
Yeah.
So last question, our motto, kind of internally, but externally to some extent, is our work matters. So what does that mean to you when you're dealing with either customer or internal stakeholders, colleagues, etc.?
So our work matters. To me, I see it kind of a couple different ways. From a customer perspective, especially when it comes to the digital solutions like Smart Solution, I see them using the platform, after I develop a training program for a customer, and I see them using the platform. I'll meet with them a couple of weeks later and say, how do you like it? And they're like, I don't know how I've done this before. I don't know how we did this before without this.
Yeah.
This makes it so much easier, right? Like, for example, on demand, it's customers can just order a box and it shows up at their door. They don't have to hold inventory now. They can get rid of all that inventory that they need to have on hand, and it just comes in a timely manner. It comes the next day to them. I see them like to me, like our work matters. Like I see that change and that shift in their attitude towards thermal packaging, and they're just like, I can't believe we did this the other way.
Right.
Where you would send an email or enter in a PO and stuff like that. No, nobody wants to do that anymore, right? Especially in this day and age where you can go on Amazon,
sure,
and order something, and you could get stuff that day.
Yeah, and you can watch the truck stop at every 12 or 10 stops before your house.
Yeah, and that is a huge achievement, for Amazon, right? That
Right.
is a huge achievement. And then the other side is what I try to do as a product manager, because I came from the engineering side. And I still have close ties with the engineering group. I still, every time I'm in the office, I make it a point to go down to talk to the people in engineering, to talk to the people in the laboratory.
Yeah. I
like to bring these stories, whether it's from Smart Solutions or whether it's from, Enshield, another product that I manage, how our solutions helped a situation.
Yeah.
That the solutions have gone above and beyond. I like bringing those stories back because time and time again, the reaction I get from anybody when I tell the stories that like they've worked on the project,
right,
but they don't see like the end result and like it being used. They're like, oh, that's cool.
Right.
That's awesome. Like I loved working on that. Like I was really wondering like what they were how it was gonna work out for them. Right. And yeah, like to them, it makes them feel like their work matters.
Yeah.
Because I've been places where I've done the work and I didn't know where it went. I didn't know who it impacted, but now with this, and that was also another reason why I wanted to get into product management, right? It was previously when I was in the laboratory, I only saw like a very small part of the business.
Sure.
And I remember in my interview with Joe, when he asked me, I said, like, well, what's the reason why you want to go into product management? And I said, I want to see, I see this, I want to see this. Like, yeah. I want a wider view of the business. I want to see kind of from beginning to end what happens, who's using it, how are they using it, and what we can do to make it better.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that just makes you think of the chicken parm story that you just told, where you want to see the reaction on somebody's face when you're cooking something that really changes their outlook on things. And I think that's the same way we can look at Smart Solutions and how our work does matter. So I think there's so many stories like that throughout this company of growth like yours, where we've seen you go from one position to another. You've had impacts all over the place. Everyone loves to go to you as a resource. Love talking and hanging out with you. So. I just want to thank you for coming on the episode, coming on our Beyond the Packout series and telling us about yourself. Yeah. So thank you very much, Giuseppe.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We'll see you next time on the next episode. Take care, everyone.